What is astronomy? Astronomy is the branch of science that deals with the celestial objects, space, and the physical universe as a whole. Earth is full of astronomers everywhere, starting with the Mesopotamians. In 4000 BC, they were the first astronomers to make long-term written records and began to build observatories called ziggurats. The next astronomers were Egyptians. They developed a calendar to be used for predicting the Nile flood and in aligning temples and monuments. Next up, we have Stonehenge, 2600 BC, a prehistoric solar observatory. The rising sun is aligned with the heel stone, which lies outside the circle of standing stones. Moving on to the Chinese, they made and recorded observations of eclipses at least as long ago as the 13th century BC. Next, we have Thales. He predicted a total solar eclipse, which took place in 585 BC. Thales was the first Malaysian astronomer. Going on to Pythagoras, he developed a model for the solar system, including two features that marked a permanent break from previous thinking about the universe. Next, we have the Babylonians, 500 BC. They determined dates of the various configurations of the sun, the earth, and discovered and measured the longer intervals of time. Aristotle, 384 to 322 BC, was a student of Plato. Aristotle held the Pythagorean view that the celestial objects are spheres, such as Earth. Next is Aristarchus, 310 to 230 BC. He applied geometry to the study of astronomy. He showed that it is possible to determine the distance to the moon. Next is Eratosthenes, 276 to 195 BC. He used geometry to calculate the size of the Earth. Hipparchus, 134 BC. He discovered a new star. Going on to Mayans and Mesoamericans, monuments and buildings of the Mayans were aligned to the position of sunrise and sunset at the equinoxes and solstice. Next, we have Ptolemy, 127 to 151 AD, the completion of a system that could accurately account for the motions of the planets using a combo of regular circular motion. Moving on to Arabs and Muslims, 700 to 1200 AD. Muslims studied the sky. Moving on to Copernicus, born 1473, died 1543, proposed the first fully developed heliocentric model of the solar system. Next is Brahe, a Danish nobleman. 3 years after the death of Copernicus, he made observations that led him to reject the heliocentric model of the solar system. On to Galileo, 1564 to 1642. He aided the heliocentric model. He also was one of the people who created the telescope. Galileo observed the sun and moon. He observed Jupiter as well. Next, we have Kepler. He published a book on the orbits of planets. 10 years after, Kepler discovered a mathematical relationship between two distances of the planets and their periods of revolution. Next is Newton. He invented the mathematical discipline of calculus. Newton created 3 laws of motion, the theory of universal gravitation. Next is Edmund Halley, November 8, 1656. Best known for computing the orbit of the eponymous Halley's Comet, second astronomer royal in Britain. Moving on to Einstein, he developed the general theory of relativity, best known for his mass-energy equivalence formula, E equals mc squared, and he also invented the refrigerator. Next, we have Niels Bohr, Danish physicist who made some contribution to understanding atomic structure and quantum theory, October 7, 1885. Next is Wolfgang Pauli, an Austrian Swiss theoretical physicist and one of the planners of quantum physics. In 1945, he was nominated for Nobel Prize for contribution through his discovery of law in nature and the Pauli principle. Next is Heisenberg, German theoretical physicist and key creator of quantum mechanics. 1927, he published his uncertainty principle, made contributions to the theory of the hydrodynamics of turbulent flows. Next is Edwin Hubble, an American astronomer who played a crucial role in establishing the field of extragalactic astronomy. Hubble is known for showing that the recessional velocity of a galaxy increases with its distance from the Earth. Next is George Lematre, Belgian Roman Catholic priest, astronomer, and professor of physics. He was the first known academic to propose the theory of the expansion of the universe. Next, we have Robert Oppenheimer, American theoretical physicist, one of the fathers of the atomic bomb in 1941.